Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. President Trump says he's considering, quote, winding down the military efforts against Iran. But multiple sources tell CBS News that Pentagon officials are preparing for the possibility of sending U.S. ground forces into Iran. Those sources tell us senior military commanders have submitted specific requests just in case President Trump decides to explore that option. Now, yesterday, President Trump told reporters that he is not planning to send ground troops into the country. The White House reiterated that message to CBS News earlier following an Axios report that the president was weighing whether to take over Karg Island to pressure Iran into reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The major oil export hub is about 20 miles off Iran's northern Gulf coast. A White House official says the president retains, quote, all options as commander-in-chief, adding that the U.S. military can take out Karg Island at any time. In a Truth Social post this morning, the president called NATO a, quote, paper tiger and cowards for not sending troops to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's blockade and attacks on vessels in the key shipping lane have caused oil and gas prices to soar. The president said there is, quote, very little danger for NATO in the strait despite ongoing Iranian missile and drone strikes. Two U.S. officials confirmed to CBS News that about 2,200 Marines and 3 warships are headed to other parts of the Middle East after leaving from California earlier this week. It's the second Marine Expeditionary Unit that has been sent to the region in recent weeks. U.S. Central Command says that 232 U.S. service members have been injured since the start of the Operation Epic Fury. At least 13 service members have died. And President Trump said again today that the Iranian military, Navy, and government has been obliterated. He added that the U.S. has been trying to contact leadership, but there's, quote, nobody to talk to.
Their leaders are all gone. The next set of leaders are all gone. And the next set of leaders are mostly gone. And now nobody wants to be a leader over there anymore. We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to. And you know what? We like it that way.
Now, the comments come as the Iranian government released a second statement today attributed to Iran's new supreme leader, who has not been seen in public since being named Ayatollah last month. It is believed he was injured in the strike that killed his father at the beginning of the conflict. And for more on this, let's bring in CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang. Weijia, good to have you on. There's a lot to unpack here. The White House and President Trump say there are no plans to send troops into Iran. But as we mentioned, we're hearing otherwise. So break it down for us. What's going on?
Well, just yesterday, President Trump was explicitly asked whether he planned to put boots on the ground, and he said he did not. But he also added, if I did, I certainly wouldn't be telling you. And, you know, I think that after hearing so much from this president and the White House, what is clear is that they are not taking any options off the table, and that includes the potential for troops. That certainly he is not going to signal exactly what he is doing before he has made that decision. But our new CBS News reporting is that the Pentagon has detailed plans at the ready that they have presented to the president because he has to weigh his options. So they can't do this preparation when he says he wants to go. Obviously, they have to do it ahead of time. And we know that, you know, those talks, those discussions, those plans are in place in the case that the president decides otherwise. But as of now, Tom, there are no plans, at least publicly, to be escalating it in that way.
Yeah, well, you know, the White House didn't exactly shut down that Axios report earlier that says the president is weighing a takeover of Karg Island to pressure Iran into reopening the Strait of Hormuz. You know, the strait is about 21 miles wide, the shipping lane just about 2 miles. So it really is just a strategic point here. What are you hearing about this?
Well, as you mentioned, the White House said the same thing, which is that the president retains his ability to have options on the table. And just a short time ago here at the White House, as the president was leaving to go to Florida, he was asked about Karg Island, and he said he doesn't have plans right now. But again, he said, I wouldn't tell you if I did. And so certainly in matters of war, it is clear that this president is considering many options. But just yesterday, he said that he wasn't going to publicly convey those because he wants to retain an element of surprise as they continue this effort against Iran.
Yeah, certainly a strategy to keep those options close to the vest. You know, I want to shift here to the president's comments about NATO allies, calling some of them cowards, certainly not mincing words here. So what is the response to President Trump's words there when it comes to not sending help to reopen the strait, Weijia?
These countries have not publicly responded, Tom, but certainly there has been frustration from them when they publicly said they were not going to help because they did not want to be dragged into an ongoing, long-standing war. But the president has made crystal clear that he believes these countries should be helping. And in a new twist of words, Tom, just a short time ago, the president posted about how it's those countries, other countries, not the U.S., that actually uses that strait and relies on that strait. But of course, when there is limitations there, it does impact global oil markets. But the president said the United States does not need it, but if asked, we will help those countries in their Hormuz efforts, but it shouldn't be necessary once Iran's threat is eradicated. So now he seems to be saying it's not really our problem. If other countries want help, the U.S. will be there to do so. But I think what he's saying here is that he is not going to have the U.S. military go at this alone, Tom.
Yeah, those global implications there are a really important point to make. Weijia Jiang with the late developments coming out of the White House tonight. Weijia, we appreciate it. Thank you.